Okay, we're broadcasting live from the Insurtech Insights event in London, March 2024. We've been meeting some really interesting people throughout the event. Yesterday, around 12 interviews took place, which have been very valuable, very insightful. And I'm really looking forward to this meeting with Donny from Blink Payment. We spoke yesterday very briefly. Thanks very much for joining me and agreeing to have this interview. So tell us a little bit about your background, Donny.
Okay, so believe it or not, it's my first job.
Really? Wow.
So I'm 4 or 5 years into working for Blink Payment, and I've somehow found myself a niche, and that's working with insurance companies.
Wow.
Now, whether that's started out by an intermediary and BIBA, so British Insurers Broker Association, and getting an understanding of how the industry works. Because to be honest, the only thing I did know was making my annual payments for my car insurance, my home insurance, and this and that, and didn't really understand what's actually going on. I've learned so much, and it's great to be here. How underwriters are looking to change and mold towards the future, methods like AI, how brokers are looking to adapt to newer products and popularity, and also like a customer experience, which is something which is really being spoken about here, which I'm really grateful to learn about. Why there's some sort of reputation about insurance, which seems to be negative, and how everybody wants to make that a positive experience for the customer.
I think historically, from the conversations that I've had over the years, customer has not always been front of mind. You know, again, I reiterate, buying insurance has not been a sexy experience. You know, I think things are changing. I think the digital native world that we're moving into enables that. So it's really good that you're bringing that up, and you're right about, you know, AI and where it's going. I think there's a lot of potential. Let's talk about the segment. You mentioned you spotted an opportunity in insurance. What is a problem you're hoping to solve for the insurer and the customer through the solutions that you've developed in-house?
Okay, so where we tend to focus our time, specifically with brokers, is how they can increase their conversion rates. So whether that's with new quotations, whether that's up to renewals. Essentially, what any broker wants at the end of the day is to get that money in, crack on, commence that policy, move on to the next. Issue often is that now we have such a wealth of information at our hands as a consumer. I can go online, I can go to compare the market, and I can get a quote from you and from him and from somebody else, and then choose, I want to go with them for any particular reason. How, when I put that quote out for £1,000, how can that broker convert that payment? What we're doing is making it easier for both the broker to accept that payment through various methods, and the client themselves, the end user, to make that payment. So for example, we think about giving the broker more options. It's that when they're sending that policy documents out to a customer and say, here's your quote for £1,000, there's a payment link on there. And if they don't want to pay via card payment, for example, there's an option for them to pay via direct debit. There's an option for them to pay via open banking, which is a thriving method of payment in the last year or two. It's not quite there yet, but it's up and coming. On the user side, to the end client, when they see that payment, often, especially for high street brokers, it's, well, I've got to call them up and make my payment over the phone. But for example, they're closed during the day or at night, or over the weekend. It's valuable time that they could be losing that policy for. So if there's a gateway on a website that's connected to their software house, so we'll work and integrate that for them. And that just means that it's easier for that customer to pay. They're more likely to make that payment.
So how are you leveraging open banking in this process?
Okay, so bank transfers, as you and I both know it, means I have to go on my phone or computer and make that transaction to the broker. Now, especially for large volume businesses, they're getting loads, the references are wrong, the names are wrong. How do we track that back? And there's loads of time spent. We want to automate not just a payment side, but also a reconciliation process too.
And the IDs of the people.
Exactly. So with open banking, it's a matter of, I want to make a payment. I choose my bank account, I click accept, and then it's done. The business always knows who's made that payment, because they can see everything's pre-filled. And there's also, it's been a 10-second process for the customer to make a payment. So it hasn't been, all right, yeah, I'll get to that later. I'll get the accounts team to do it. It's so much easier for them to, and it just means the money's in at the end of it.
So you mentioned open banking is good, but it's not quite there yet. What's missing?
We're stubborn people here in the UK, and contactless took 10 years to pick up, and I think it's the same with open banking.
So adoption.
People aren't quite aware of it, or there's security issues saying, what do you mean you have access to our banking? I know, of course we don't. We just can connect the part where the customer can make the payment, and they've got to log into their open banking the same way.
Yeah, again, I think it's education of the ecosystem to say we're making your life easier. You don't want to be filling out a form every time that you make a payment, right? So I totally get it. And it sounds like you're solving some real critical issues for brokers. What's the future of the platform? What are the innovations that you've got coming down the line that might even make more changes and benefits to your customers?
Where we're focusing a lot of time now is with integrations into software houses, into management tools. So what I mean by where a broker or an underwriter will be managing risk and calculating what that's going to be worth. At what point can we look at integrating, let's say, a payout as well? Because currently we're just receivables.
Yeah.
So we're looking to help with that side of things as well. Of course, artificial intelligence, where's that going to slot in? Converting the checkout part on websites. So for example, on aggregator websites where customers can choose which broker they want to choose from. If they've made a payment in the past to a similar, the right word is shopping cart, then it can already ask them, oh, okay, do you have a specific code? And we can refill card details. And then again, it's easier. So we don't necessarily leverage AI for, at least on our side, for working out and calculating risk, because we're there to work on the payment side of it.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Donny, real pleasure. I think we've covered quite a lot in that. So thanks very much for your time. And you're welcome on any time.
Very kind.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.